Hello students, welcome to video lecture on assessment of firm. I am NB Patil, Assistant Professor of Commerce at KLE Society's BK College Chikkodi. These are the topics I am going to cover in this video. First, assessment, partnership firm and scheme of assessment of firm. And then we will look at the format for computation of total income and tax liability of the firm, conditions under section 184. Then we will study the steps involved in computation of total income of the firm, calculation of remuneration under section 40B. We will also see the key features of assessment of firm, and at the last we will solve problems on book profit and income from business of firm. Suppose you are a owner of business and earning a profit of rupees 2 lakh in the financial year 2018-19, and you have received the interest from bank rupees 50,000 in the same financial year, and you have a lottery income of rupees 50,000, and you are a employee in a company and received a salary of rupees 1,50,000, and you sold one of your building and earned a profit of rupees 4 lakh. If you have these incomes in the financial year 2018-19, then the general question comes into your mind relating to tax is, what is my taxable income and what is my tax liability? It is the general question which comes into the mind of a person who earning the income. The answers for these questions will get in the assessment procedure. That is our topic. Students, the tax liability of a person is determined by three terms. One is residential status of a person. Second, income on which tax is levied. As you know that all the income earned by a person is not taxable. And the third one is tax rate applicable to a person in the relevant assessment year. Once the residential status is determined, the second important step is to compute the income on which the tax is levied. That is called total income. That is calculation of the total income. If we know the total income, then at the rate applicable to a person we can compute the tax liability. So the tax liability can be calculated on the basis of total income and tax rates applicable to an assessee. So the assessment means here calculation of total income and tax liability of a person is called assessment. Let us see the definitions given under Income Tax Act. As you know that person, the term person includes an individual Hindu undivided family, company, firm, AOP, local authority, artificial juridical person. If any of these person is liable to pay tax or any sum of money under this act is called as assessee. It means if an individual is earning an income exceeding the exemption limit, then he is liable to pay tax under Income Tax Act. Then he is called as assessee. Every assessee has to file the return of his income for every assessment year within the due dates. He has to furnish the information about his total income and tax liability in the format which is called as a return of income. So after submission or after filing of return of income by an assessee, the next task is performed by Income Tax Department or assessing officer, that is assessment. It means the Income Tax Department examines the return of income for its correctness. The process of examining the return of income which is filed or submitted by an assessee, it is called as assessment. The assessment officer examines the total income and tax liability of a person it is called as assessment. In simple words, assessment, it is a process of determining the correctness of total income of an assessee and determining the tax payable by him. From this discussion we can come to conclusion that the term assessment includes two steps. First one is computation of total income and the second one is computation of tax payable. Look at the first step, that is calculation of total income. As you know that there are 5 heads of income. The aggregate of 5 heads of income is called as gross total income after set off and carry forward of losses. If we deduct the amount of deductions which can be applicable to an assessee, then we will get the total income, that is the taxable income. So in case of firm can have only 4 heads of income. Income from business, income from house property, capital gain, income from other sources. If we aggregate these income, it is a gross total income, and if we deduct the deduction under section 80G to 80JJA, that is the total income of the firm. Here the important point to be remembered that calculation of income under house property, capital gain and income from other sources, the procedure which we follow for calculation of income under these heads is the same for all the assessee or all the persons. In case of individual, firm or company, we follow the same procedure of calculation of income under these heads: house property, capital gain and income from other sources. But income from business, in case of firm, there are 2 adjustments to be made which are not to be made in case of other assessees or other person, individual or company. So here in this video I am going to focus on income from business of a firm, and in the next video we will solve the problems on calculation of the total income. It means in this video just I am going to focus on the head income from business, and the second step in the assessment is computation of tax payable. As you know that tax payable, it is calculated on the total income as per the rates applicable to an assessee in the relevant assessment year. So here is a format for computation of tax liability of a firm. There are 3 incomes which are chargeable at the special rates. First is long-term capital gain, which is chargeable at the special rates. Second is STCG under section 111A, and one more, winning from lottery. I have not mentioned it here as there cannot be the lottery income to the firm. So winning from lottery, these are the 3 incomes which are chargeable at the special rates, and these rates are mentioned or specified in the Income Tax Act, not in the Finance Act. So the remaining income of the firm are taxable at 30%. If the total income exceeds rupees 1 crore, 12% surcharge to be added, and 4% health and education cess. It is compulsory irrespective of the extent of total income. It is to be added and calculated on the tax amount. After computation of tax liability, we should deduct any advance tax paid by firm. Then we will get the tax payable by firm. These are the formats for computation of total income and tax payable by the firm. Students, please note down these formats. Now we will study important aspects of a partnership firm. As you aware that there are 2 acts which governs the partnership firms in our country. One is Indian Partnership Act 1932 and Limited Liability Partnership Act 2008. The term firm, partner and partnership are defined in these acts. So Income Tax Act has not defined the term firm, partner and partnership. The definitions which are given under Partnership Act and Limited Liability Partnership Act same are assigned here. So first, partnership, it is the relationship between persons who have agreed to share the profits of business carried on by all or any of them acting for all. And partner is a person who entered into a partnership is called as partner. So for the tax purpose, partner also includes a minor. And working partner. Working partner here is a person who is actively engaged in conducting the affairs of the business. Firm means the entity which comes into existence as a result of partnership agreement. Any business, profession or entity which comes into existence as a result of the partnership deed is firm. So for tax purpose, firm includes both partnership firm, whether it is running a business or it is in the profession, or limited liability partnership. It means the procedure of assessment is the same for all the partnership firms. The next important aspect is book profit. Book profit means the net profit as shown in the profit and loss account in the manner as laid down under section 28 to 44D of the Act. So here the net profit as per profit and loss account laid down under section 28 to 44D means the income from business, as we know the procedure of calculation of the income under the head profits and gains of business or profession. That is the profit under section 28 to 44D of the Act. Then again to that income we should add the disallowed interest on capital and salary, bonus, commission or remuneration which is payable to all the partners if debited to profit and loss account. Then we will get the book profit. Let us see how to compute the book profit. Profit and loss account. How do you compute the income from business? If the profit and loss account is given, you know that first we take the profit as per the profit and loss account, then we add the disallowed expenses which are debited to profit and loss account, which are debited to the profit and loss account. Out of these, the expenses which are disallowed, which are not relating to business, are added. Then the third step is to deduct the incomes which are exempted and the incomes which are chargeable under other heads credited to the profit and loss accounts. Then we will get the income from business. It is the procedure for calculation of income from business in case of all assessee. So here the change is we should add two items in case of partnership firm. One is disallowed interest on capital which is debited to profit and loss account. Here disallowed interest on capital means up to 12% per annum is allowed as a expenses. It means excess of 12% of interest on capital is disallowed. And the second one is remuneration to all the partners which is debited to profit and loss account. So any interest on capital which is debited to profit and loss account, excess of 12% is added back to the profit. And the second one is salary, commission, remuneration to all the partners is added. If we add these two items to the income from business, then we will get book profit. It is the important calculation in case of assessment of firm. So let us see what is assessment of firm. What is the scheme of assessment of firm? For the purpose of assessment, partnership firm are classified. Partnership firm classified as firm assessed as such and firm assessed as AOP. There are two sections, section 184 and section 185. These are the sections which determine the assessment of the firm. There are conditions in section 184. If those conditions are fulfilled by firm, then the firm is assessed as firm. If any of the conditions mentioned under section 184 are not satisfied, then the firm is assessed as AOP under section 185. See the conditions under section 184. There are three conditions which are to be fulfilled in the first assessment year. First one is the partnership is evidenced by an instrument. There must be a partnership deed in the partnership. It is the first one. Second one is the profit sharing ratio of partners should be specified in the partnership deed. It is compulsory. And the third one is a copy of partnership deed should be certified and submitted along with the return of income. It means while filing the return of income by a firm has to submit the partnership deed along with the return. These are the three conditions to be satisfied to assess firm as firm. And the fourth one, it is to be satisfied if the firm has changed the constitution of the firm. That is, if any change in the profit sharing ratio or any change in the partnership or admission of a new partner or retirement of the old partner, then the revised partnership deed is to be submitted along with the return. These are the four conditions to be satisfied by the partnership firm to be assessed as firm. Almost all the questions which asked in the examination are of the firm which assessed as such. Before going to discuss about the format for computation of income from business, we have to understand the transactions between the firm and partners, because the treatment of the transactions between the firm and partners is important here. Okay, so first see what are the transactions of between the firm and partner. First, the firm is treated as separate entity. Okay, it is the important feature you should understand. Firm is treated as separate entity means here the firm and the partners are the two separate entities. The income of the firm or the expenses of the firm should not be clubbed with the incomes and expenses of the partners. It means the income of firm is taxable in the status of firm and the income of partners are taxable in the status of individual. Okay, so it is that firm is treated as separate entity. So there are three transactions between the firm and partners. First one is share of income or loss, second interest on capital, third salary remuneration to the partners. Share of income or loss means, suppose if a firm earned a profit after tax of rupees 1,50,000, okay, if this income is distributed among the three partners equally 50,000, 50,000, 50,000, this is the share of income from the firm and it is income to the partners. it is income to the partners. So the question is, how do you treat this income in the hands of partner? This income is exempt from tax. This income is not at all taxable in the hands of partner. Second, how do you treat interest on capital and salary remuneration to the partners in the hands of firm and in the hands of partners? First, see how do you treat these two items in the books of firm. First one, as you understand that these are expenses to the firm. Second one, these are treated as allowable expenses. For the tax purpose, these two items are treated as allowable expenses. The next point, what is the extent of extent of allowable? First, interest on capital to all the partners. All the partners means here to working as well as non-working partners. Up to 12% per annum simple interest is allowed. Note down this point, it is important one. Interest on capital to all the partners is allowed as expenses up to 12% per annum. And salary remuneration to working partner is allowed up to the permissible limit under section 40B. It means the salary remuneration or any commission bonus given by a firm to working partner is not allowed as expenses. The whole amount is not allowed as expenses. There is a limit which is stated in section 40B, that is the maximum limit of remuneration allowable. Now see how these are treated in the hands of partners. First, these two are income to the partners. Interest on capital as well as salary remuneration are the incomes to the partners. Second one, these incomes are taxable income. It means such interest on capital or remuneration are taxable in the hands of partners. Third one is in individual capacity, taxable in individual capacity. And the third important is that what is the extent of taxability of these incomes. The interest on capital and the salary or remuneration is a taxable under the head profits and gains from business or profession. It is important point to be remembered that these incomes are taxable under the head profits and gains. Generally the interest is taxable, or we take interest under that income from other sources, but in case it is an interest on capital to the partner from firm, that interest is taxable under that income from business. And salary remuneration to the partners from the firm of which he is a partner, it is taxable under that income from business. And the last, the amount which is allowed as a expenses to the firm, it is the extent of taxability of such income in the hands of partner. All that whole amount which is paid by the firm is not taxable in the hands of partner. Only the amount of remuneration or salary which is allowed as expenses to the firm, that portion of that remuneration is taxable in the hands of partner. This is about the transactions, that is interest on capital, important adjustments, interest on capital, salary remuneration to partners. See these comparison that when the conditions are satisfied by the firm, when the conditions under section 184 are not satisfied by the firm. Just you can go through with this. The next important concept that steps in computation of total income of the firm. As we discussed, first we have to compute the book profit, the profit and loss account, and other information may given in examination. From that information, first we have to compute the book profit. The second, we have to compute the allowable remuneration under section 40B, and the third step is computation of income from business of a firm. These three are the important computations in assessment of firm. And the next step is computation of income under other heads other than business, that is house property, capital gain, and other sources. Then aggregate or add all the incomes, that is gross total income, and that incorporate the provisions of set off and carry forward of losses. Then deduct any deductions applicable to the firm. We will get the total income. So in this video, as I told in the beginning, that we will focus on first three steps, that is computation of income from business of a firm. In the next video we will discuss the total income, computation of total income. So it is the format for computation of book profit and income from business. So you are informed to note this format. Already I have explained in the previous slide. First, we should take the net profit as per the profit and loss account. Then add, second step, add inadmissible or disallowed expenses which are debited to the profit and loss account, expenses which are not relating to business activity but debited to the profit and loss account. Such expenses are to be added. So examples are the main expenses which are not relating to business are the personal expenses of partners, and the second one is capital expenditure which are not revenue in nature, and any provisions. Next, expenses relating to other heads or exempted income. And the next important for here that assessment of firm is disallowed interest to partners. Disallowed interest. So interest means here interest on capital as well as interest on loan. Okay, exceed of 12%, excess of 12% is disallowed, and any other non-business expenses which are debited to the profit and loss account should be added. Next, we should add the salary, remuneration, commission or bonus which is debited, given to all the partners, not only working partners, given to all the partners, which is debited to profit and loss account should be added. Then deduct the exempted incomes and the incomes chargeable to other heads which are credited. So this is the item which is credited to the profit and loss account, and these are the items which are debited to the profit and loss account. So these items to be added and these items to be deducted. Then we will get the book profit. Okay, it is the first step in the computation of total income, and the second step is calculation of allowable remuneration. Second step, this is the second step in computation of total income, that is calculation of allowable remuneration. For allowable remuneration, we have to compute two amounts. First, actual remuneration to working partners. Keep in mind, only remuneration to working partners is allowed as a deduction. Here in the first, while adding back to the profit, we should take remuneration to all the partners, whether working or non-working partners. But while calculation of allowable remuneration, The remuneration to working partner only is to be taken here. So allowable remuneration means first we should compute actual remuneration to working partners, then we have to compute the remuneration under section 40B. We will discuss in the next slide. So least of these is allowable remuneration. It means whichever is less is the allowable remuneration. Okay. From the book profit, if we deduct the allowable remuneration, the resulting figure is income from business of the firm. So there are 3 steps in the computation of income from business. First, compute the book profit, then deduct the allowable remuneration, we will get the income from business. Keep in mind, allowable remuneration means actual remuneration or remuneration under section 40B, whichever is less. Now we will discuss how to compute the remuneration under section 40B. There are conditions to be satisfied. First one, that remuneration to working partner is allowed. Remuneration to non-working partner is not allowed. Remuneration must be authorized by the partnership deed. The remuneration given by firm to the partner should be authorized by partnership deed. And the third important, that is the calculation of permissible limit under section 40B. It is important. Please note down this format. Calculation of remuneration under section 40 subsection B. There are 2 steps. It is based on book profit. As we discussed in the previous slide, the remuneration, permissible remuneration under section 40B, it is based on the book profit. The first step, when the book profit exceeds rupees 3 lakh, or we will see the format first. On the first rupees 3 lakh of the book profit, or in case of loss, 90% of the book profit or 1,50,000. 90% of the book profit or 1,50,000, whichever is higher. It is the first step in computation of remuneration under section 40B. 2 amounts to be computed, 90% of the book profit and one is given, that 1,50,000, whichever is higher to be taken first. It is not allowable remuneration. There is one more amount to be calculated. If the book profit exceeds rupees 3 lakh, then only we have to compute the second step. If the book profit exceeds rupees 3 lakh, otherwise the remuneration calculated in the first step. Note down this format, which is important. Calculation of remuneration under section 40B. Remuneration under section 40B, it is depends on the book profit. There are 2 amounts to be calculated. First one, on first of rupees 3 lakh of the book profit, or in case of loss, 90% of the book profit or minimum 1,50,000, whichever is higher, first to be taken. And in the second step, on the balance of book profit, that is on excess of rupees 3 lakh of the book profit. If there is a 4 lakh book profit, then here in the second step, on 1 lakh we should take 60% of 1 lakh, that is 60% of the remaining book profit. It is the second amount. So aggregate of these 2, it is the remuneration under section 40B. Important point here to be noted, that if the book profit is rupees 3 lakh or less than 3 lakh, or in case of loss you can compute only the first step. Just you can compute the 90%. If the book profit exceeds rupees 3 lakh, then only you have to compute these two amounts, 90% and 60%. Okay. Now see the important adjustments for computation of income from business of a firm. First one, interest on capital. Already you know that interest on capital to all the partners is allowed as expenses to the firm up to 12% of simple interest per annum. To all the partners, up to 12% of simple interest per annum will be allowed as expenses. Second one, interest on loan from partners. If a firm has taken loan from partners, the interest on loan from partners is allowed as expenses up to 12% of simple interest per annum. Third, rent to partner. If a firm has used any building of a partner for its office use, then firm has to pay rent to the partner. Such rent is also allowed as expenses, but it should be reasonable. And even the expenses relating to such building paid by the firm as per deed also allowed as expenses. If any rent paid to the partner is excess of reasonable rent, it is disallowed. Example, if the rent paid to partner is rupees 10,000 but the reasonable rent is rupees 8,000, then excess of reasonable rent, that is rupees 2,000, which is paid by the firm, is disallowed. And the next fourth one is, as you know that relating to remuneration to the partners, actual remuneration to working partner or remuneration under section 40B, whichever is less is allowed as deduction. These are the four important adjustments to be remembered for computation of business income of the firm. And the last important point regarding the remuneration is remuneration to non-working or sleeping partner is not allowed as a deduction. Okay, in the next video we will solve the problems on book profit and income from business. Thank you.